Naruto, 10 times Sasuke was irredeemable. Naruto's entire ending hinges on Sasuke's redemption, but the fact of the matter is that he didn't deserve it. Sasuke Uchiha was the deuteragonist and arguably main antagonist of Naruto. His quest for vengeance never seemed to be slaked, increasingly progressing in depravity until he had become just as evil as those he sought to destroy. While Sasuke's potential forgiveness may have been a central theme of the story, there are many reasons why he never should have received it. Naruto's entire ending hinges on Sasuke's redemption, but the fact of the matter is that he didn't deserve it. 10. Rejecting Naruto during the retrieval mission. After Sasuke just departed from Konoha, Naruto embarked after him alongside a team led by Shikamaru. Together, they fought the Sound Four, each suffering severely for the young Uzumaki to have a chance at redeeming his friend. In spite of how desperately he tried to convince him, Sasuke refused to be helped. Instead, he turned on Naruto, unleashing the full fury of his curse mark and nearly killing his former friend. Considering how ardently he rejected Naruto's offer the first time, it follows that Sasuke had ample warning before his corruption. 9. Plotting vengeance since the beginning. Sasuke's ideal of revenge was unfortunately not a new ambition. It was his sole drive as a shinobi, one he proudly remarked to Kakashi Hatake. The son of the White Fang warned him about its dangers, though he obstinately refused to listen, even going as far as to threaten his sensei's loved ones. He made it clear that his obsession with power had trumped any other priority. Proven through his usage of the curse mark in order to defeat Dosu's team during the Chunin exam. 8. Shooting Karen through the chest. Having defeated Danzo in combat, the Foundation leader was desperate to procure his survival. To do so, he seized Karen and used her as a human hostage, hoping that he might staunch his opponent's wrath. Not only would Sasuke attack Shimura anyway, he made no noticeable effort to avoid hitting Karen directly. On the contrary, he specifically aimed for his medical assistant's heart, spearing her and Danzo through the chest simultaneously with his Chidori. This was in spite of how loyally she served him, providing the essential assistance he would need to overcome Killer Bee. 7. Trying to kill Sakura. Karen was unfortunately not the only medical ninja Sasuke attempted to kill. After she was crumpled, bleeding on the ground and on the verge of death, he invited Sakura to finish her off as a sign of her loyalty before joining his private group. After she showed reluctance to murder a mostly innocent person, he turned his wrath against her. It was only through the interventions of Kakashi and Naruto that she was narrowly spared his wrath, even though Haruno was one of the only people advocating not to hunt him down like an animal. 6. Attacking a peace summit. Sasuke's villainy was not confined specifically to the leaf, making it difficult to justify his redemption. During the summit between the 5 nations, he participated in Obito's efforts to threaten their leaders and disturb their peace. Since he was technically a shinobi of Konoha, albeit a rogue one, this could have damaged diplomatic relations, particularly given how emphatically Naruto pleaded to the Raikage on his behalf. Should their pact have dissolved, none of them would have been able to withstand Kabuto's Edo Tensei army. 5. Murdering Itachi. Since the series began, fans eagerly anticipated Sasuke's victory over his older brother, Itachi. It was reasonably so, as far as they could perceive. He murdered his entire clan with allegedly no ulterior motive than to infuriate his brother. After it was revealed that the Uchiha were indeed plotting an uprising, and because Danzo specifically made no other alternative possible, Itachi's death became a tragic one. While he hoped his brother would satisfy his revenge and evolve his Sharingan for his success, only the latter would be achieved. The rogue Avenger's rage would consume many more people before his appetite was finally sated. 4. Contemplating destroying Konoha. After Danzo's death, Sasuke was still indecisive about who should be the next victim of his wrath. While he considered slaying the other two Konoha elders who were almost as equally responsible for the Uchiha's destruction as Shimura was, he also entertained the notion of eradicating the leaf entirely. This verdict was only narrowly avoided after Sasuke forced Orochimaru to resurrect the previous 4 Hokage. A discussion suggested that their village should be spared, only to face a fate arguably worse than death instead. 3. Joining the Akatsuki. At the beginning of Shippuden, Sasuke attempted to join the Akatsuki. Given his strong affiliation with the Leaf, they made him prove his loyalty by kidnapping and retrieving the 8 Tails Jinchuriki. Despite what vile intentions they had for Killer Bee, Sasuke was more than happy to oblige regardless of the consequences. It was at this point Sasuke's quest for revenge began impacting the lives of innocent bystanders. But such moral trivialities were beyond his concern. 2. Stealing the power of the Jinchuriki. In order to defeat Naruto, Sasuke was willing to deign to any means necessary, evincing a dissatisfaction with his power despite how much of it he had already accrued. Since the tailed beasts were still captured, the avenging Uchiha seized the opportunity to harness their power and add it to his own. This made him exponentially more difficult for Naruto to overcome. Even though the strength of Kurama eclipsed that of the other tailed beasts now that Minato's half had been added, Sasuke's manipulation of their power was malignant and arguably sacrilegious. 1. Attempting to become the sole dictator of the planet. The final fight between Naruto and Sasuke was a battle that spanned more than their friendship, it was a clash of ideological supremacy. One that had persisted from their previous incarnations of Indra and Asura. Sasuke sought to unite people through their mutual hatred and obedience to him, using his godlike power to justify his station. Naruto believed that his might should be used as a supplement to the people's efforts, not as a natural right to dominate them. Should Sasuke have been victorious against his former ally, he would have ushered in an era of darkness that would make many wish they stayed in the infinite Tsukimi.